Good afternoon. And this is your host, Tracy Howe Crummy with Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And we are a self care, mental health awareness, and wellness podcast that encourages, inspires, as well as enlighten listeners on how to create wellness, overcome negative thinking, and develop strategies for a healthier mindset. How is everyone doing this afternoon? I'm hoping everyone is well. I have a special guest today that's with me. We have licensed professional counselor Kendra Williams, and we're definitely excited to have her. And she's here on mental health chats. So this is going to be wonderful, wonderful. Kendra, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Tracy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You got to just jump right in and tell us all about yourself. When I started putting this together, and you and I met on this wild coincidence, we both were featured in the top 33 inspirational women that's globally and internationally, as well as all over this world. So, we're very, very blessed women. So, in that, I was just like super excited to know you in that way. And then we started to talk. Then I find out so much more about you. So tell us about your field. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about your causes. I mean, you have so much going on. Tell us about everything. We'll start off wanting to know about what Kendra Williams wants to share with us today on this mental health chat.
Okay. Well, I'm Kendra Williams. I'm from Columbus, Georgia, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. I've been counseling children and at-risk youth for about 6 years now. So I work in the community and with families as well. So I would say that that's something that I'm excited about. I've been doing it, for a little bit, but it's very rewarding. So yes, I'm very excited about that. And to just talk about mental health is something that's very prevalent right now in the world and in our community. So I'm just excited to just, get it out there and just so it won't be a stigma around it. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And that's really what this podcast is about, also ending the stigma of associated with mental health and mental illness. So you've been in the field for 6 years as a licensed professional counselor. So tell us a little bit about, you said at-risk youth.
Mhm.
What is going on right now with our youth that you will want to make sure you're sharing with our listeners and the audience today? What is happening, because it's such a shift. It's such a shift where you got um with the everything now is becoming a part of the mental aspect. But tell us like what you're seeing and what you think. Give us some information. What do you think is going on?
Well, I would definitely say there's trends right now for youth and especially social media. I see a lot of bullying, cyberbullying going on with the youth. Especially, it seems like there's a difference between the guys and the girls. Girls going through puberty and liking boys and just trying to understand themselves better. So they're trying to fit in and find their way in society and with their classmates. So I would say that with the pressure, peer pressure, body image, um, just overall, when you think about when you used to grow up, some things that you've experienced, but now it's with the social media age, it's just so different. There's like everything is at their grasp. So they want everything, so quickly. So just seeing that now is just so totally different than
Yeah.
when I grew up.
When I grew up too, I mean, it's so much like I'm just not understanding, because we didn't have all these luxuries. We didn't have phones. I was out when I grew up, the cell phone, we didn't even have a computer, let alone, a cell phone. So you have so many of these kids having all these things at their disposal without even the parental I guess, locks or whatever parents are should be doing with their kids, or monitoring what they're doing. Um, it's just really hard right now to understand, because a 6-year-old came to school with a gun and shot a teacher. Like, what you think that's all about?
Yes, I definitely agree. And I would say, especially with that, especially, when you think about boys in general, how they, it's like they grow up with the video games and how you see that with the violence and the movies and Fortnite. I know that's something that's popular. And so it's like they're wanting to reenact the things that they're seeing
Mm.
and,
Mm.
videos. So it's just like, how can I express myself without and communicating without it going to a violent place? So I think having and creating safe spaces so they can find their voice and not have to communicate in ways that are violent is something that we definitely need to talk about with our families and with our teachers.
I think so. Bringing this stuff to the forefront and in schools. I'm a mental health first aid trained in youth and adult, as well as psychological first aid. So it's really, really getting to be such a thin line in the way that we're conducting, or the shift in the parenting, or we just don't know where the responsibility lies for what, because with yourself helping with the mental health piece to help the kids go work through this, but again, you got the responsibility of the parents, and then the parents thinking at times it's responsibility of the schools. So we're really thankful that you all are being able to give the support and provide the services. Tell me about this situation where you all are almost obsolete in numbers. Like they're needing more clinicians and counselors or psychiatrists, or this field. Tell me about what you think the problem is, and is it the education, is it the schooling, what do you think?
I would say that it's just as far as the having more people in our field, it's something that I would say is more new. And I think
Mm,
especially with the pandemic, I
mhm,
think that people really realize, how important that counselors are,
mhm.
for your mental health, because they had that time for themselves to really think about, things that were going on in their lives that maybe they didn't think about because they were working and had, other things going on. So I think it really brought it to the forefront, and
Mhm.
especially in our school system, how important it
Yes.
is to have that.
Yes, yes. That's interesting, because I know that there were some laws and bills, because I also advocate as well as yourself. And I know that they were saying, just the field itself, we needed to make some provisions for more people to get the certifications, I guess, in your field, that they needed to make sure they can add that onto their insurances or things like that, of that nature. So it's a lot of things we have to think about. So now we're going to talk more about that, but tell us about you being a life coach. You're also being the CEO of Worthy of Grace. So you got to tell us all about it. I mean, I love the fact that you're young. Even if you're not young, you sure look good. So you're young, you're vibrant, you're giving us everything we need for us to be inspired by in these days and time. And this being about mental health awareness and also self care and wellness. How are you taking care of yourself too? And we're going to go table back to Worthy of Grace. How are you managing? Because it's so much going on. Like, who takes care of Kendra?
Ooh, well, I would definitely say, yeah, take a sigh of relief. Yeah, I
Mhm.
would definitely say that sometimes you have to force yourself to take time.
Mm.
Definitely. But it's good that I have a great support system of my family and friends, and my church family and God. So that has definitely kept me where I'm
That's
at.
all we got. That's a sustaining point for everyone, Kendra, because without him, we can't do anything. And we have to know that that's where all the help, the strength, when we can't get through, we can't move forward, and we can't, carry the loads because there's so much stuff that burdens us too. Okay. Well, now back to Worthy of Grace. Tell me how that came about, how you were inspired to think about I need to do a LLC, and Worthy of Grace is such a beautiful, beautiful name for your business. Tell us how that all came about too, because you're being a licensed counselor, and then you're coaching. We can also talk about, because you are a coach as well. So tell us all about those things.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, so Worthy of Grace, that was inspired by the name, what I went through and how God showed me grace. So I would
Mm.
say about 3.5 years ago, I was dating a guy, and the relationship, it left me in a place where I was very confused and hurt. So, with developing my relationship with God, I would say that definitely brought me through, because, when I got closer to him, he let me know who I was and how I was worthy despite feeling rejected by in this relationship. So just, getting back to the person that I was, and to be an even better person. And God, he just showed me, part of my purpose is helping women that have been through the same thing that I have, and just to let them know, you can overcome feeling that you're not maybe worthy at the place that you were. And so just knowing that their worth comes from God. And he just said, I just want you to help women, just to let them know and rediscover their confidence, and let them know that they do have a purpose. And I want them to have freedom as well in that area of relationships.
You know, listen, who's ever watching this, Worthy of Grace, Kendra Williams, because there is a lot of struggles. And just in your singleness and God keeping you, and you're able to bless and be a blessing to other women. Tell us about, is this something that you do virtually? Are you in schools? Tell us about how, if someone wanted to contact you or wanted to get involved with Worthy of Grace, tell us what they could do.
Okay, yes, I definitely do virtual. So I have consultations where I talk with women just about, things that they've experienced in relationships, and just to let them know that, there is greater on the other side, and there is hope. And I would just offer them, I have a 90-day course to help them on their journey to wholeness. And with this course, I also have another course where I help them with their career. Maybe they're going something's going on in their career, where they may be in a transition, or just wanting to start their own business and finding their purpose. So that is all incorporated with what I do with Worthy of Grace. So if they want to contact me, they can find me on LinkedIn as well as Facebook at Kendra W3, and Instagram at KMWorthy_88.
All right, I'm going to get this up for them. And you said Kendra W3.
On Facebook.
W3. And this is on Facebook. And you can find her on LinkedIn, everybody. LinkedIn. And what are you on for? Is LinkedIn just your name?
Yes, just Kendra
Okay.
Williams.
Okay. I'm gonna put this on a banner for you. Kendra Williams is on LinkedIn as well. So any ladies looking right now can can go right on. And I'm going to put this on the ticker so it also goes through too. Uh, I'm just so excited. It's so much that we have to experience. So is that Kendra W3? Can you see that too? It's not
Yeah.
on the what? Yeah, okay. Kendra W3, and on LinkedIn is Kendra Williams. Okay, so we're so excited about everything that you're doing, and we have so much going on right now. Tell us about what do you see, or where do you see yourself now that you've accomplished some of these things, and you're now a licensed professional counselor, and you are you thinking about, probably, do you want your personal practice, or do you want to be doing things independently? Tell us about all of that, because how does that become relevant on your career path?
Okay. Yes, I would definitely like to have my own practice. And right now, I would say that I'm just incorporating all elements of my business. So, entrepreneurship, life coaching, therapy, just all incorporated as well. I'm going to be reaching out to business ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, and other therapists and consultants for my network coming out, the Modern Women's Network. So I'm excited about that and wanting to hear their inspiring stories as well to a
Yeah.
global audience. Yes.
I want you to tell us more about that, because I have so much information. You got to tell us all about where you're going to be coming soon, because you'll be coming soon to some networks, the Modern Woman Network. Tell us about, like, where they'll be able to find you on there as well.
Okay, so when it's ready, I will be on. So my vision is vision, purpose, and freedom. So that is my motto for the Modern Women's Network. So you can find me on Google TV, Android TV, Roku TV, and it should be to an audience on average of 4.25 million. So yes, I'm definitely excited to connect with the viewers and with other entrepreneurs. Yes, very
Yeah.
excited.
Yes, you are doing some amazing things. And we're going to continue to talk more, because we're going to go back to our mental health, and back to some things that are happening, some of these trends, like what's going on in these restaurants, what's going on in these drive-throughs, what's going on in your perspective of how the minds are being captive. You and I both know, being spiritual, that it is warfare, and it's not against flesh and blood, but principality and power. So we understand that. Not everybody may understand that. So tell us what. Just share anything you can, because we want to make it make sense. We would say, make it make sense, Jesus. We want to make it make sense, because I'm in awe of some of the
Yeah.
things that are going on. So let's, with the mental health piece, tell me what you're facing.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. You just hear so many things on the news with people in really strange situations. Like you said, the restaurants, people, I think it said even shooting family members over pork chops.
Pork
So,
chops.
yes, pork chops. So,
I'm
it
glad
was,
I don't even eat pork. Okay, so that's a whole nother story. Pork chops.
yes, yes, pork chops. Yes.
Oh,
So we know it's something definitely more going on
it
um,
is.
in people's lives. Yes.
What? Okay, so what? Say, for instance, someone came to you with this pork chop scenario. Maybe it was in their family. They come to you. They're a youth, and they're not necessarily at risk. Where are you starting at with that?
I would say I would wonder what took them to that place where that was their last straw.
Yes.
Yes. So I know it's something definitely going on deeper and trying to figure out, okay, what was the trigger to get to that point? Definitely looking at their family history. I would say that for sure. And just finding out about their background, maybe some things that they've experienced in the past, their
Trauma.
communication style, yes, trauma, and just yeah, definitely developing some coping skills. So when they get angry, they would, find a better solution.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to not to get to that point. So hopefully that's why I'm so passionate about definitely, not having the stigma. So people they feel like they can have somebody to talk to. So when they feel like, okay, I don't want to get to this place, but I definitely need a positive outlet. Yes.
Well, I guess we both are fighting for this same thing, ending this stigma.
Mhm.
I mean, do you think it's going to end? I mean, how we're doing our best, and we're just two people in this world trying to end the stigma associated with mental health, so everyone can be very, very transparent and comfortable talking about issues. When will it end? I mean, what else could you suggest that we could do? As a community, as a culture, because we know there are different cultural norms on what's acceptable and what's not. Tell us a little bit about we say in the stigma. How hard is that becoming?
I would say it has gotten somewhat better.
Okay.
The fact that, we have these safe spaces that we can talk about it without, because I know sometimes it can be spirit, like you said, it's spiritualized, but it's to the point where it's like, okay, it is okay to talk about it. I think definitely it does start, I would say, at home.
Mhm.
Having parents and families being able to have an open conversation. I think it definitely starts at home. So I would say with that, that definitely can create a better environment to have those conversations where the parents they are involved with the children like we talked about earlier, with at school, the behaviors are turning up at school, and that's a trend that I noticed, and that the parents they may not take it seriously, but when they get to grade school and then the teachers they're saying, okay, well, this is continuing, and then it's like they have an aha moment where it's like, okay, I guess there is something going on at home where I need to change, and we need to create a behavioral plan so my child is having success, not just at school, but in life. Because when we experience these things, this can lead to us having trouble in adulthood, the way that we communicate with others, losing jobs. I mean, some people, they may not take it that seriously, but it does have a ripple effect.
Yes, yes. So definitely the hardships in families definitely bring about the stressors, and it brings about the anxiety. I do agree with that. I do agree with that 100%. So what are we doing in that way of trying to help in regards to the listening piece? Because I think we want people to hear, but why is it so hard for the listening? I mean, are we really listening to one another, you think? Is that most of the issue, the listening part? Because hearing and listening is different. You know that.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a lot of times we listen to respond,
Hmm.
but not to be understood. So I would say that.
Yeah.
Um, I think definitely too, the communication is definitely different, especially I would say with families because with parents, it's like, okay, do what I say, but not as I do. And then the children, they can be confused because they're like, okay, well, I see you doing this. So why is it not okay for me to do this? And so that brings about confusion as well. So I would say that definitely starting with that. And I would say as well, we're not, as a society, I think we're just not talking more. It's more of just about texting or passive aggressiveness. So people, they're not really expressing their feelings and then they're
Yeah.
holding it in.
Yes. I had a friend of mine's girlfriend, her son had taken his life a few months ago by sextortion. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
I, you put these two words together and you're knowing something is happening, but that's in a lot of the young culture that, the coping for that. And also to add to, my son, I think I shared that with you in the beginning, had died by suicide. So that's what led me to delve right into trying to understand um, depression or anxiety or issues that may have with young people not being able to cope. So we're not really sure where how that shifted because you and I, like we said, from where we come from, we didn't have people trying to say let's get this help, or let's go to counseling. Well, I didn't. I can speak for myself. So maybe you can expound on that.
Yes, definitely. I would say that it's just I think sometimes that people, when they're going through situations, they don't know how to tell what
Mhm.
they're going through and how to express, I feel this pain. I'm not sure about, what's going on. Um, I don't want to be a burden. And I know a lot of times that is also something that people go through, not feeling like, okay, I don't want to, my family's already going through this. I don't want to add on to this. So they feel like they're protecting the family members. But the family members, they really want to help, but if they don't know, they can't. Yeah.
That's something that now you've really said something that I think I can resonate with. And I know our kids have a lot of different characteristics and personalities. So I definitely I received that because
Mhm.
that could be something that even my son could have been going through, maybe feeling burdened, although he got his own life. And when you're thinking about, how your mate, like if you weren't around, thing may be easier for someone, but it's not the case. So you just never know because we will never know. Um, Tell me about the times when you feel most vulnerable when you're in either capacity in your counseling role or with the women of grace, talking with them. Because I know there has to be some points in your moments you're like that breath I just let out. You just like, you know?
Yes. Yes, definitely. I would say, especially early on when I was even when I was doing counseling, with it was with a teen. And so it's like I know with counseling they say don't try to um they call it transference. So it's like having your own issues, bringing it onto them. So, even though I was counseling him and he was talking about, things he was going on in his relationship, I'm like, mm-hmm. But I'm like, but in
Yeah,
my
I
mind,
wanted that. Me too. Let's
mhm,
talk about it. He start
right.
counseling you or something.
Exactly. So in my mind, I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, I gotta keep a straight face, because I think that's the time where we're still doing telehealth counseling. So it's like, sometimes you have to, just say, okay, I have to put that aside. I have to deal with him.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Well, this has been such an amazing experience. I want you to come on again and again and again. And then when you get on your network, I'm going to come on and talk with you. We're going to conclude this. I hate to go, but we were just going to do, I said 30 minutes because we could go on and on and on and on talking
Yes.
about it. But you'll come back. You'll come back then with more information because things are happening so fast, you'll have to keep me updated on what's going on, because every day we'll have something new to talk about. Because
Yes.
it's just, if it's not one thing, it's another. And with the young people, with the schools and the shootings in school, and I know we'll touch that real quick before we go. With that happening, do you get a lot of parents coming in with their children wanting to make sure you help them through those incidents? Because going back to school is hard. If they've been at school, they're scared to go back to school. You know, the fear of it all. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll close.
Okay. So yes, definitely. The kids that I've talked to, they haven't really expressed, those feelings about, being scared at school, especially for the most recent incident. But with the other incidents, they're like, yes, I'm afraid, going to school. This is something else, I have to go through. I know they also talked about sometimes having to, have, like lockdown practices. So
Oh,
that makes it more real, in that sense. So yeah, definitely. Hopefully this is something that is not a trend that's gonna keep on upticking. Hopefully, we can do something about it. And we definitely, need associations and we need more advocacy for mental health funding because this is something that definitely, it needs to change. So I'm definitely want to continue to talk about this and to continue to just spread awareness because it's definitely important.
well, we'll definitely be working together to do that. So we have some things we need to discuss, because I envision us, God already had put this together and we didn't even know each other. And it's funny how it all, like I said, how it all came about from us both being featured in the Hoyser uh, book of top 33 inspirational women, and then realizing on LinkedIn you liked that I was in the book, and then you're on the same publication and issue that I'm on. How ironic! And then to know you were a counselor, how double ironic. I was like, oh God, couldn't have put this together better. But I'm so thankful you came on and you had shared some time out of your afternoon to come on and talk to me today and share and spread the news about what you're experiencing. Once again, we've had on Mental Health Chats, Beauty for Ashes with Tracy, licensed professional counselor and CEO of Worthy of Grace, Kendra Williams. And right now, once again, you can find her on these platforms: Kendra W3 on Facebook and LinkedIn, her first and last name, Kendra Williams. And also, I've been displaying, if you need help, get help. We have the access lines featured, Georgia Crisis and Access Line, as well as 9888, and that is the lifeline for any mental health issues that you may be suffering. Is there anything else you want to say before we close out this segment, this episode 9, this with Kendra Williams, Mental Health Chat? I'm excited.
Yes, just thank you so much. This has been great. Great getting to talk to you. And I'm just excited to connect with the audience and hear you guys' thoughts about mental health and how we can create, a better world. So I'm excited to hear from you all. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, thank you once again. And we'll sign off by letting you know this is Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And we're so thankful you shared your afternoon with us. Take care, be blessed, and we will see you next Saturday.
Bye.